So this is my graphics video and my topic is scales, and this is my principal sheet of scales. Now firstly I will go through a few reasons of why we use scales. So what is a scale? A scale is the enlarging or reducing of an object due to its real life size. So therefore we enlarge it or reduce it due to its size so we can fit it on a drawing sheet. Who uses scales? Architects or draftsmen use scales, and where they use them in drawing offices, schools, etc. for projects, components that companies may be designing, etc. Why are scales used? Scales are used to enlarge or reduce the size of an object if it's too big or small in real life. For example, you will reduce the size of an object to a scale ratio of 1:5 for an object such as a multi-story building. It's so big that it can't fit on a drawing sheet the size of this, so we would reduce the measurements of this building by 5, therefore ratio 1:5. You would enlarge an object such as a watch to a scale ratio of maybe 2:1, so it would fit in a drawing sheet. As a watch would be rather small, you would increase the scale of it by a factor of 2, so therefore we double the size of it, so therefore the ratio is 2:1. Now, there's two different types of scales. There's a plane scale and there's a diagonal scale. Now, a plane scale measures to within 1/10 of a meter. So we'll say if we to make a measurement of 2.6, 3.9, 4.8, a plane scale would do this for us. Whereas a diagonal scale measures to within 100 of a meter. Let's say if we wanted to measure to a measurement of 2.91, 3.49, 5.82, a diagonal scale will be used for this. So above here I have an example on my principal sheet of a plane scale. So here we have a plane scale which is 4 meters long, but obviously this is the reduced size of it. The scale from A to B is 100 meters long, 100 millimeters long, and the original length should be 4 meters long. Now 4 meters in millimeters is 4,000 millimeters, so 4,000 divided by 100 is 40, so our scale is 1:40. So this is 100 meters long, it should be 4,000 millimeters, so we divide it by a scale as 1:40 for the drawing sheet. Now as you can see here, one section is divided up into parts, segments. It's divided up into 10. This is to get the point of a 10th measurement. So here now we're going measuring 2.6. So as you can see, we start at 2, we go to 1, so that's 1, and we go back to 0, so that's 2, and we move along here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's to get our 0.6. So there we've measured from here to here, which is 2.6. So 2 to 0, which is 2, and 6 of the tenths we go back to get 2.6 millimeters. So that's the plane scale. Now, why do we use a plane scale? It's a faster method of obtaining measurements rather than multiplying or dividing numbers, and we use them to take measurements of reduced and large scale drawings. Now, this is an example of a diagonal scale. Now, as I said before, diagonal scales are used to measure to within 1/100th of a meter. So 1.25 millimeters or 2.65 meters here. And these are the measurements we're going to measure to. So as you can see, like the plane scale over here, it's divided into 4 columns. And it's 100 millimeters wide from A to B. It should be 4,000 millimeters. So as you look, again, our scale ratio is 1:40. So 100 goes into 4,000 40 times. And our measurements are going to be 2.68 millimeters, 2.68 meters and 1.25 meters. Now here, it's a bit different to the plane scale. The diagonal, hence why it's called diagonals, there's diagonals going up here. So it's divided in tenths down here, and it's divided in tenths up here. And as you can see, from A to 1 is divided up in tenths as well. So what you do is, from 0, you join up to 1 above here, and from 1 you join up to 2 above here, and etc all the way along until 9 joins back up to 1 above here. So hence why it is called the diagonal scale. Now we will measure 2.68 meters and 1.25 meters below. Now here, so we start at 2 because this 2.68 meters, go back to 1, that's 1, go back to 0, that's 2, but this time for 6 we measure out 6, that's to get to 2.6 meters, and we move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps to get 2.68 meters. And for 1.25 we move from 1 back to 0, which is 1, and because it's 1.2 we go 1, 2, and because it's 0.5 we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hence 1.25 is found in the diagonal scale. Okay, so a quick recap on scales. So we discussed what is a scale. It's the enlarging and reducing of an object due to its real life size. We discussed who uses scales. Architects and draftsmen use scales. And where are the scales used? They're used in schools and drawing offices and companies making products, etc. Why are scales used? They are used to enlarge or reduce the size of an object if it's too big or small in real life. And reduce scale ratio might be 1:5. Enlarge scale ratio might be 2:1. And there's two types of scales, the plane scale and the diagonal scale, as we discussed in the principal sheet. Plane scale measures to within 1/10 of a meter, and a diagonal scale measures to within 100 of a meter. And lastly, again, this is just an example of a plane scale, measures to within 1/10 of a meter, and this is an example of a diagonal scale, which measures to within 100 of a meter, as we've gone through. I hope this video helps.